Today's review is the Nikon Coolpix S8100, the Megatron to the Canon PowerShot SD4500's Optimus Prime. These cameras excel in low light. They offer 1080p video and 10x optical zooms. But what sets these two warriors apart? We're gonna find out in this review. We preferred the Nikon Coolpix S8100's design over the Canon PowerShot SD4500 IS, and there are a couple reasons for this. First off, the Coolpix S8100 has a pop-up flash, locating it farther from the lens, unlike the SD4500's flash, which is embedded closer to the lens, which is more prone to giving shadows. Second, let's turn the cameras around and look at the LCDs. The Nikon Coolpix S8100 offers a 921,000 pixel 3-inch display, while the SD4500 only has a 230,000 pixel display. So that's a big difference. The Nikon wins on that front. Also, the Nikon is a little bit bigger, bulkier, but it's easier to hold and much more comfortable. The SD4500 is very strange. It's asymmetrical. It's kind of surreal. We do like the color combinations better on the SD4500 IS though. Nikon Coolpix S8100 has an HDMI output. It runs on SD, SDHC, SDXC cards. It has a large, chunky zoom rocker and a mode dial and a circular control on the back. Very similar to the Canon PowerShot SD4500 IS's. Even though both cameras have 10x optical zooms, the Nikon S8100 has a 30 to 300 millimeter focal length, while the Canon PowerShot SD4500 IS has a 36 to 360 millimeter focal length, meaning that the S8100 has a wider angle lens, which we preferred, especially shooting in the type of environments that these cameras were bred for. So overall, the S8100 wins on the design front. Now when we talk features, it's a different story. Both cameras are dumbed down to specific scene modes. We don't get any advanced controls like program, we don't get aperture, shutter priority, or manual mode. We just have set scene modes. And when we rely on just scene modes, we have to split hairs, and the Canon PowerShot SD4500 offers more. There's a long shutter mode for you long shutter enthusiasts. It's called long shutter mode, and that goes down to 15 seconds. You can't adjust the shutter on the Nikon S8100 unless you go into fireworks mode, and it goes down to 4 seconds and the white balance is altered, and so it's not worth it. The S8100 also has subject tracking. We can adjust the ISO up to 3200 just like the SD4500, and it has a great continuous shooting mode with plenty of options. And it has an excellent manual white balance mode. There are specified low light shooting modes like night landscape and night portrait, but we don't get that opportunity to adjust the shutter. One thing we love about the S8100 is that it features vividness, hue, and brightness sliders that can be controlled with the circular control dial on the back. But the SD4500 IS has all these fun digital filters, plenty of color filters. It just has more. Also, the SD4500 has a better menu interface. The S8100 has a clunky, antiquated, kind of stubborn menu interface, and it's a nightmare trying to trim clips in playback. So the SD4500 is definitely a lot more sleek, a lot more smooth. If Nikon could take some notes from Canon when it comes to menu interface, they'd be a lot better off. Image quality, the moment we've all been waiting for. Which camera does it better when the lights are out? Well, the Nikon Coolpix S8100 exhibited excellent noise management in low light, and so did the SD4500 IS. Both cameras perform very well in low light. The Canon's noise is a little more fine. It's a little sharper. The Nikon's noise is a little fuzzier, like peach fuzz. So both of these cameras are very good in low light at high ISO levels. Check out all our samples on our site, compare them to the SD4500 IS, and you be the judge. When it came to video, both of these cameras have 1080p video, but the difference is that the S8100 records at 30 frames a second, while the SD4500 records at 24 frames a second. What you get is a more cinematic feel from the SD4500 IS, and you get better motion from the S8100 IS. We preferred Canon's 1080p video slightly over the S8100 because it had better detail, especially when we move the camera. But both cameras, when the lighting is right, will look very good, and especially in low light. Low light, 1080p, very good on both cameras. So don't let image quality be a deciding factor between both. Let other features be a deciding factor, because both these cameras are very good when it comes to image quality. So here's our final answer between the Nikon Coolpix S8100 and Canon PowerShot SD4500 IS. It is a classic tale of hardware versus software. The Nikon Coolpix S8100 has the hardware. It's got a better lens, it has a better flash, a better LCD. The PowerShot SD4500 IS has better features and a better menu interface. So it's internal versus external. Both these cameras get the same score from us, and they're achieving something that we didn't know compacts would be able to achieve in the year 2010, and that's high quality ISO shooting in low light. For InfoSync World, I'm Mike Perlman.